Hi guys, welcome back to a chapter a day. So this is my second take for this video. So this is a different, view, but yeah, if you watched yesterday's video, you would know that I was really vulnerable yesterday and I was just realizing that slowly and slowly my mental health was just leaping. It was on the edge and I just needed to keep things back on track. And I just felt like maybe people out there are going through the same thing that I'm going through, and you're trying to build a relationship with God, but you don't know how to just keep your mental health sane in the sense that your habits, your characters, you want to change it and just be a better version of yourself, but you just don't know how to do it. And I'm in the same boat. I'm still just trying to not necessarily live a perfect life, but at the same time, be a better version of myself. So, yeah, I feel like this is very underrated. Not a lot of people talk about this when you're trying to build a relationship with God or get closer to God. People just feel, okay, read your Bible and live your life the normal way you do. No, you have to change your character, you have to change your attributes, you have to become a better person, and it's not drastic. You have to take little and little and little changes until you have achieved that goal of yours. So yeah, that's basically what this video is about: how to have a better mental health on your process of developing a relationship with God. So yeah, at first I was like, I'm gonna like video myself during my morning routine and stuff like that, but I was like, that is so unnecessary. And I felt like doing cartoons, and I was like, I could turn this into a cartoon. So yeah, it was lovely, and I hope you guys enjoy this. So first thing is first, waking up in the morning. I recently started waking up very early in the morning. Sometimes I wake up as early as like 5 a.m. and I snooze my alarm to like 5:35. Sometimes I snooze it to 6:25 intentionally because I know that's when the sun is gonna rise, and I'll just go out and be one of those people who go, yay, I woke up this morning and I saw the sunrise. But I always feel so nice just waking up and like, I saw the sunrise today. But yeah, it's hitting the snooze button. It just basically depends on how early or late I slept the night before. But when I wake up, I immediately drink water. Like, it's an understatement to say when my alarm rings, I'm awake, or when I hit the snooze button, I'm awake. No, I literally just grumble over my bed and I'm like, ah. But until I drink like a whole bottle of water, sometimes two bottles, that's the only time when I'm like sanely awake. But yeah, after drinking water, it's time for my God time. Now, this is a time I look forward to so much because I off all the lights in my room and I only leave a little lamp on because my room is close to like so many trees, and it's 6:25 in the morning, meaning it's still dark. Well, it's daylight saving time. It's not necessarily dark, but it's like gloomy, and then there are like shadows on the wall, and everything's just, I literally just grumbled, wall, shadows on the wall, and everything just looks so serene and just so quiet. Oh, I feel so zen inside of myself. So I literally just sit on my bed and I read my Bible. So when I read my Bible, I just read Psalms, any Psalms that I feel like reading that day. Sometimes it's very inspirational and I just get the inspiration to read either Psalms 30 or Psalms 91. But sometimes I don't really know what to read, so I just read good old Psalms 51. And I really like that chapter because it just shows how vulnerable David was when he was praying to God and asking God for his forgiveness. And I feel it's a lovely chapter to end your day with and also start your day with. So I read that and I thank God for giving me life. Many people, like, even though you're not a prayer person, when you wake up and you don't tell God, thank you for giving me life, do you know how messed up that is? Because you're forgetting to talk to God that morning, but He didn't forget to wake you up. He did not forget to give you life that day. The least you could say is thank you for giving me life. So yeah, I say thank you for giving me life, and I ask Him to have mercy upon me in any way that I sin against Him unconsciously and consciously, because we're sinners. And after that, I asked Him to take charge of my day, to be with me in everything that I do. I asked Him for grace over sin and anger, and to just take full control and charge of that day. So it's just simple prayers like that. Now, after that, next thing I do is listen to some praise and worship, because that's what I feel like listening to. So some songs I listen to are God is Love by the Innocence Mission, God Day. I don't know how to pronounce the singer's name. I do not know. Oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but yeah, the name of the song is God Day, and then Ocean's Eye by the Hillsong. And so yeah, sometimes I literally just get a comb and I'm like singing along. I'm like, yeah, I'm really feeling this. So after that, when I'm done, singing, it's time for me to do my own things, like brushing my teeth, just getting into more casual outfit. Sometimes I like going for a walk just to, in my own words, seeing the outside world and knowing that, people are still existing. I go for a walk. Sometimes I randomly just stretch. Sometimes I do chores. Sometimes I just randomly walk around the house, just anything to make me walk. That's basically all. So after I do my things, it's time to read. Anybody that knows me knows I love reading, mostly studying. When it comes to like reading fictional stories, I only do that during the holidays. I'm not really a fun person when it comes to reading books. I only do that during the holidays when I don't have anything to do. But when it's like school season, no, I don't read any fictional books because it just gets my mind all wrinkly and stuff like that. So yeah. So recently I'm reading 2 books at the same time. Sue me. When I say I'm reading 2 books at the same time, it just sounds weird, but they are 2 different genres and they're from 2 different countries actually, and they were published at 2 different times. Oh, my life. So the first book I'm reading is Anne of Green Gables. Oh my god. I don't know what to say about this book. It's a Canadian book. It's fictional and it was published in 1806. I like vintage books and it's a classic. It's amazing. Like I can't even start expressing how this book has affected my imaginative side. So I don't even want to talk about the book. I don't want to give any spoilers. I don't want to make this about the book because if I just say one thing about the book, I'm just gonna spend this whole time of the video talking about Anne of Green Gables. So I won't do that, but it's a pretty amazing book. And I read it before, but I didn't finish reading it. And then I now watched a play based on the book. And I was like, no, I need to go finish reading this book. But my favorite line in the book, so there's an orphan girl named Anne, and she goes to meet the Cuthberts. And then Marilla, who is Marilla Cuthbert, she's like, tell me what your name is. And then Anne goes, can you call me Cordelia? And then Marilla asks her, what's your real name? And then she goes, Anne, but do you mind adding Anne with an E? I know a lot of you might be like, how do you know that that's how her voice sounds? If you read the book, it takes 9 hours and 40 something minutes to read the book. I know some of you might think I'm crazy for knowing the exact time it takes to read the book, but I listened to the audiobook, listened to the printout. It's an amazing book. I said listen to the printout. I read the printout and I also listened to the other audiobook. So yeah, it takes 9 hours and 46 minutes to listen to the whole book. And if you just read the book, you see how her character just has so much development that's how you just picture her voice being like, whoo, so angelic and yet so powerful at the same time. But yeah, she's really, really, really sophisticated orphan girl, and she is really just so imaginative and yet so troublesome and yet so innocent. She's just, oh my god, it's an amazing book. And with an E, an amazing person, an amazing book. And yeah, you guys can read the book if you want to. I can put a link below to the audiobook in case you guys might want to read it. It's really been accommodating. I've not really spent a lot of time on YouTube because of it, because I look forward to reading it each day. So another book I've been reading at the same time is The List. So I bought The List because I just wanted to, you know, see the similarities between the stereotypical high school standards versus how high school was for me. So, and as I'm reading it, I'm currently halfway through the end of the book, and I will say it's not the best book you could read in terms of like developing themes and character progression. Well, some characters develop to become better, and some just there's no hope in some characters' development. But nonetheless, one thing I don't like about the book is that you cannot have any imaginative aspect when reading this book. I mean, compare it to Anne with Green Gables. Anne with Green Gables, I spend like 3 hours reading Anne with Green Gables out of each day. I spend 3 hours dedicated to just reading Anne with Green Gables, not like consecutive 3 hours. Sometimes I randomly just read it when I'm bored. But yeah, when I read it, I'm just always so imaginative. I literally just visualize every scene in the book, and it just makes me wonder, how will Anne's life end in the future? But for the list, I can't really imagine anything because, when what you read about a character, you kind of know how that character's life is going to end, and the book is a spoiler on its own. More or less, the book spoils itself. But it's a lovely book. But if you like reading books and developing visuals of what that book or what the characters may look like or how the character's life may end, it's not the best book to read. It doesn't have any pictures though. It's not the best book to read because there is no room for imagination, no scope for imagination. You kind of know how everybody's life is gonna end. So yeah. And I have a few other books, like 4 other books. I've not started reading them because I'm not a robot and I can only read 2 books at a time. So yeah. And next thing I do now is time for my study time. So this usually happens around like 3 p.m. because I really like taking my time to do each thing that I do. And during study time, I'm currently taking a human anatomy and physiology class, which is really amazing. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because, I don't want to make it about science now. And I'm reading my medical dictionary, which is a dictionary I found in the thrift store, or my mom found in the thrift store. And it's really amazing. Like, I can pronounce so many different words that I did not know existed, and it's really amazing. And then there's an app that I downloaded called Women's Bible, where you read an audiobook, an audio Bible, but I don't like listening to audio Bibles, but they give you themes on the Bible about females and people like Esther and Ruth and what God told women to do generations after the Israelites and generations to come, what women are supposed to do. And it's just really amazing. I'm going to start reading it this afternoon. And yeah, there's also a memorization section where you can memorize the Bible. So it's just a little fun thing to have on your phone. And then I finally do a chapter a day. This usually happens about 5 p.m. So this is when I have my second quiet time with God. I know most people read their Bible in the morning, but for me, it's not a choice. I've just gotten so used to reading my Bible in the nighttime. That's why I had to just get so many things to do during the daytime during this quarantine period. So yeah, when I read my Bible, I mostly start off with just reading every chapter, the chapters that I need to read for the day. Then I have my highlighter and I just highlight words that stand out to me, verses that stand out to me, and then I get my prayer journal and write out, what I learned from that chapter, things that I want God to help me to learn, and my prayer requests. And then after doing that, I journal. So journaling has been something that I'm trying to do steadily, but it's just been really hard because there's nothing really interesting to write about during quarantine because, we're all home each second of the day. I'm looking at the same thing each hour, and there is no room for creativity. So I don't really journal each day. Sometimes I journal like one day and then 2 days after I journal again. So when I have like high emotions, I'm just like, ooh, spark of creativity, I journal it down. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then after that, I type on the chapter for a chapter day series and I record it, and then I post it on YouTube, and then you guys watch it, and then the cycle begins the next day again. So it's a pretty boring life, but if you noticed, I have not done anything with technology except for the end of the day. And even when I'm listening to my music, my praise and worship, I use a speaker connected to my phone, so I don't really have to look at my phone. So I feel like just doing these things have helped me to just be more intuitive and be more aware of my surroundings, and just ignore this earthly things for a few months and a few days and a few weeks, and just focus on myself and God. And I feel it's really amazing. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. I'm turning into a YouTuber. No, be sure to just share, subscribe, and just build on your mental health. Comment. I really want to know what you guys think about this. If you're, trying to struggle with your mental health recently, comment. Let's talk about it. I really want to talk about it. So yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day, and see you guys today, later on in the evening, for Deuteronomy chapter 19, the chapter for today. Okay, bye. 15 minutes and 53 seconds. Wow, that's a lot. Okay.